Hey everybody, this is Aaron from Awolnation, and this is Eska Rock.
Does it annoy you when people still keep asking you about sales single?
No, I mean, I was blessed to have a song that is known pretty much by everyone throughout the world. So, I feel really blessed, and I love the song still. I think it's a great song, so I'm not embarrassed by it by any means. And I still love to play it. So, it's special lyrics to me and very, very close song to my heart. And I wrote the whole thing, and I'm really proud of it.
How did your life look like before and after single sale exploded?
Well, you need to understand first that the record exploded as a whole, and that was obviously the biggest song, but the other singles did well too, and so maybe for you it could appear that way, and that's okay, but it wasn't as simple as just one song. It was a lot of work and a lot of touring and a lot of live shows that kind of got us to this opportunity to be able to play all over the world and have a real fan base that care about us and who we care about as well. So I can tell you what it was like before I started this band and how it feels now, and how it was before was I felt like the same person, I guess. I mean, I was much younger, and I just was broke, so I didn't have any money to pay for day-to-day stuff. But so after the band took off, I was now I'm not as worried about figuring out ways to buy food or pay rent and typical life struggles. So that's the biggest difference. And now we play in front of a packed audience every night.
Back in the day, you used to train sports a lot. Have you ever considered becoming a professional sportsman, then professional musician? What made you decide to go into music?
I think it was just what I loved to do most, and it's what made me feel best. That and surfing. And I was just better at writing songs and performing live than I ever was at any one sport. So, realistically, I was probably not strong enough or big enough to be a professional athlete by any means. I think when I was a little kid, that's what I thought would be cool, to be in the Olympics or be a pitcher for the Dodgers, But I don't know. I would say that, probably when I was 16 is when I abandoned all organized sports and concentrated on music mostly and surfing on the side.
Okay, now I would like to stick to music, and I would like to ask you about the creation process when you write a song. What is the first thing that happens? Is it lyrics that come first, or melody, or something else?
It's everything. There's not one rule or formula. It can be a beat, it could be a melody, it could be a lyric, sort of a riddle that I've written down. It could be a string section, it could be a guitar line. But, usually it's some sort of melody. I would say 70% of the time it's a melody of some kind. Having said that, that could be a melody that's a synth line melody. It doesn't have to necessarily be singing melodies. But, I tend to write very catchy melodic stuff, for better or for worse, and so there's really no rule. I just keep it open, you never know when you're going to get a spark of an idea that seems very important and special and urgent, and so when that happens, I try to move everything aside and focus on that idea.
Now, while recording the latest album, which is Run, did you feel any kind of pressure that you have to make a hit that would be at least as popular as Sail?
No, that wouldn't be possible. If you think about it, there hasn't been any songs since then, with the exception of a couple around the same time that have been as big as that song. So I don't know if I don't know if that'll even ever happen again in music. So I don't know. I mean, it's. I didn't think that was going to be a hit when I wrote it. I don't really know what. I mean, I know what I think sounds like a commercial song, I guess, but it's not what I'm aspiring to do. I think I write catchy enough songs that, as long as I keep my head down, one of the songs will have some sort of commercial success whenever I'm making a record. So, with this one, I just kept my head down and was trying to make the best record I could, and now it's starting to really take off. And so, I never have expectations to have a 6 million selling song. That's just a freak occurrence.
Okay, coming back to your debut album, Megalithic Symphony, can you point out differences between your debut album and the second one? Because as it appears to me, the first one was more rough, more into rock. The second one is a bit milder and I would say a bit psychedelic.
Yeah, I would disagree. I think this new one is much heavier and darker. Although there are more opportunities, and the new record has a couple more songs that are just really ballads, just a piano ballad in Fat Face, or Headrest for My Soul is just a guitar and a vocal and one string eventually in one harmony, or one ooh, I should say, in the background. And a song like Drinking Lightning is really mellow, but I think it's heavier and darker. So when it's full volume and full intensity and full power, I think all those parts are much heavier than any one part on Megalithic Symphony, but there are more dynamics on Run. So I guess I could see why someone would maybe think that it's a softer record, but it in all actuality is not. It just tells a bit more of a diverse story, I think.
Yeah, okay. Recently you recorded your version of I'm on Fire, one of the biggest hits of Bruce Springsteen. So I'd like to ask, what made you decide to choose this song, one of my favorites as far as Boss is concerned, or maybe it was a random choice?
It was sort of random, but I mean, I've always, like you, loved that song since I was a little kid. That's such a great record, such a big pop record, and a, culturally significant record, I think, especially growing up in the States. And, someone hinted to me that they were going to use some sort of cover version of that song in the movie, and I knew it was going to be such a big movie that I thought it would be a good opportunity. So I recorded my own little version of it and sent it over to the powers that be, and they decided that they liked it and thought it was good enough to put in the movie. But it wasn't much more thought than that. It was kind of a nice, happy accident for me.
Okay. Can you remember your first visit to Poland? Few years ago, you played in Poland for the very first time. It was unique and special concert. Can you remember that? Can you remember why it was so special?
Well, I remember that it rained when we played, and I thought that. I also remember that our stage was so far away from the main stage that it took like 10 minutes to walk there. So I figured, no one's going to come over to this stage; it's too far. And because of the weather, it was raining. And then we had this army of people that showed up and knew all the words to every song. And that was a really special, inspiring thing. And then the sound went out, but we just kept playing anyways, and people kept partying and crowd surfing and moshing and celebrating the music with us. And I think I jumped in the crowd, and it rained on us all together, and it was a really beautiful, memorable time.
Okay, a few days ago you were playing Sziget Festival in Hungary, and it's huge open-air festival, great crowd, huge crowd there, and tonight you're gonna play in Proximie. It's a much smaller venue than Sziget Festival. Do you prefer playing to such huge crowd of people, or just maybe some more intimate places?
I like them the same, they're just different. I mean, when you have a smaller venue, it's more intimate, and, you have a better opportunity to touch people and connect with them and look them in their eyes. And so that's a beautiful thing. But when you have a massive sea of people that you're playing for. You're reaching, and especially in festivals, you're reaching new listeners. Where anyone who's coming to the show tonight pretty much knows our music. We've already sold them on the song, so they're coming to celebrate with us live. Where at a festival, you have an opportunity to reach new fans. So, it just depends. It's nice to do both throughout a tour. So on this tour we're on right now, there's a nice handful of smaller, intimate shows, and these massive festivals. So it's cool because it keeps it different and keeps you on your toes, and you have a different energy for each different venue you play. So it's cool to do either.